Hi there. This video is being made for social networking, so please share it on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you have. The hashtag is anti-vote. Of course, not just for this video, but that's the hashtag for the general idea of being able to vote directly against someone. Here goes. What we need to do is replace our failed plurality voting system with a consensus election system. And okay, first off, people might ask, how do we know the current system is failed, or why would I say that it's failed? I think that's pretty obvious. We keep getting politicians that we don't want. People try to keep them out, and they find it to be an impossibility. They try to get them out, and they find it to be an impossibility. It's as if somebody is somehow hand-picking the politicians for the people, and then the people have basically no say in the matter. It's kind of like, okay, we picked these two for you, toss a coin and tell us which one you're going to take. We need to fix that. I could get into more details on that, but I think it's kind of a waste of time. Most people, I'm pretty sure, understand the fact that there's a problem. So, what will a functional consensus election system look like? Of course, that's not something that I want to define entirely on my own, but I do have some things to say about how I envision it. I would imagine something similar to an online banking technology where each person has a voting account and votes are treated as valuable property. We could start out with the ability to cast a write-in ballot entry request for people that we'd like to have on the ballot. This wouldn't exactly be a vote, but we'd be starting out with an empty ballot and basically saying, okay, at the beginning of the election cycle, after we've got a politician in place, when we first start preparing for the votes, we've got nobody on the ballot. So if you want somebody on the ballot, you make a ballot entry request, and anybody could browse the complete list of ballot entry requests or search for specific names in it. This would mainly be to suggest interest in a potential candidate being on the ballot and, of course, getting votes. Anybody could then register to be on the ballot and would immediately be available on an electronic ballot with the same photo that they used for their voting account as a picture ID, so that people would be able to see who it is they're voting for. Or possibly we could have maybe a separate picture just for that one, so they could have something that makes them look nice to the voters. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to make all the decisions. I just want to give people an idea of how I envision this. And I'm hoping that people will pass this idea along and talk with each other about it, and that it will evolve. At any rate, there would also be other data that would be included, such as, for example, a person's age, to eliminate the chance of any apparent duplicate entry in case somebody has the same name. People could then vote anytime they want for or against anybody who's on the ballot, and they could cast their vote with regard to each candidate as full strength or as a percentage of full strength. So in other words, how you vote would be very flexible. You could simply say, I'm for this guy, or you could get more specific and say, I'm against this guy, or I'm partially for this guy, or I'm partially against this guy, I'm 10% for this guy, basically however you want. And that would, of course, not affect your ability to say how you feel about another candidate for the same position. You could at any time you want, clear your entire vote and start over and just cast a vote for or against one particular candidate, or you could maintain what you have and modify it and add to it, and over time evolve your vote into what you want it to be. So, okay, we could set our votes as private or public. Publicly visible votes, basically, if you leave your account, visible, then any publicly visible votes would be visible. If you were to set your account as private, if you don't want anybody seeing that you're a registered voter at all, except, say, for example, maybe law officials might be an exception. I don't know, but if you want to hide your account from people, then of course your votes would probably be hidden along with it, because how's anybody? Camera ran out of memory, so I'm going to try splicing this together. I'm not sure if the software I've got is going to be able to handle the task or not. So I will repeat a little bit from the beginning just in case. Please share this on social networks. Use the hashtag anti-vote. And of course there's more to it than that. I suppose you could add in the hashtag consensus also. That might be CONSEMSUS. I had to think about the spelling of that word. Okay, any rate. So where was I? I was talking about private and public. For people who want to be able to keep their votes private, they'd be able to do so. If they want to be able to keep their account private, they could do so. The idea behind having a publicly available option is that the more people who choose to have their votes shown as public, the easier it would be to verify that the votes are what the system says they are, and that nobody's found a way to mess with the numbers in the system. And if somebody ends up with a huge percentage of private votes, and not many people are hiding their votes, we might be able to figure something's gone wrong and an investigation is needed. The idea being to try to make sure that we have things as verifiable as possible. And of course, people would be encouraged to allow their votes to be seen for that reason. Maybe we could even have a way that people could set their accounts as visible, but visible as anonymous, so that maybe they'd come up with a hash number or something, and no personally identifiable information, but that their votes would be able to be seen. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't want to try to figure this whole thing out on my own. This is something I think needs to be a societal project. So, let's see, where was I? Okay, the vote count for each candidate would be able to be viewed in several different ways, including all supporting votes, all opposing votes, the number of total votes of any type, the average vote weight, how many votes are marked as private, how many votes are marked as public, and so on. Each voter could perhaps also post a public note about any candidate, which could then be viewed by other voters. All of this would be to help people come to a consensus by the time an election cycle is up. So the idea being, rather than near the end of the election cycle we all scramble to get our voting done, this way people could cast their vote whenever they feel like, change their vote at any time they feel like. If there's an incumbent in office who's trying to remain in office, it might do them some good to maybe look and see whether or not people are planning on voting for them, or are casting votes for them, because basically it would be an ongoing approval rating for the incumbent, and for anybody who's trying to get that position, there would also be a sort of ongoing approval rating. So, for example, if there is a senator who's trying to get the presidency, and that they've made it known that they're willing to take the presidency and they're on the ballot, then it might be in their best interest, if they want that position, to be doing a good job as a senator, and doing things that the people are going to be happy with. So again, I don't want all the answers to be my idea, but I have put a lot of thought into this, so I'm sharing what I can of it. Okay, let's see. Checking my notes here. Okay, so what are the steps to get there? First, we need to insist on the right to vote against someone. This is crucial. Why is this critical? Simple. Because right now, we get handed candidates that are picked out for us, whether we like them or not. And there's a reason why this happens. Because fear and hate are being used against us. Mainly fear. You know, we're basically told, be afraid of this guy and vote for this other guy instead. Well, if we're supposed to be afraid of this guy, what does that have to do with the other guy? There's the big question. Why does our system cause us to vote for someone because we want to get somebody else not to win the vote? We shouldn't have to do that. If we have someone we support, we should be able to support that person. If all we know is we're scared of a particular candidate, then that's what should show up on the ballot. And if we know we're scared of a candidate and we do have somebody we'd like. Okay, once again, ran out of memory. So, camera stopped. I'm going to try to splice these together, but in case it doesn't work, I'm going to say it again. Please share this. Post it out on Twitter, Facebook, whatever else you've got. Use the hashtag anti-vote and possibly hashtag consensus. Add a little description in there saying this is about consensus elections and get people talking about it. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about, okay, if a particular person is afraid of a certain candidate, wants to keep this candidate from winning an election, and say they've got some other candidate that they would like to have win the election, but they don't think really has a chance, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to say no to the candidate they want to keep out, and say yes to the candidate that they want to put in, and not have to vote at all for some candidate that they think would be more likely to win than the one that they really want, but basically would be a lesser evil. This is one of the problems with our election system right now, is it encourages lesser evil voting. Well, if you're voting for the lesser evil, you're still voting for evil. Might want to pass that around to the people out there that claim that they have really high moral standards, and then go around insisting that they've got to vote for the lesser evil because it's the only way to stop the greater evil. Well, if they're voting for the lesser evil, they're still voting for evil. And yeah, that may just be the best thing they can do under the circumstances. Then again, maybe not voting at all is the best thing they can do under the circumstances as far as voting goes. I'm not sure the answer to that. And too many people have to battle with that, trying to figure out what is the right answer. We shouldn't have to do that. This is why we need a better system. So, very first thing, insist on the right to a negative vote option, to be able to vote directly against a candidate. That will help to eliminate the candidates that are picked out to work against the people and for the private interests, and that'll help us to start getting in some candidates that will be willing to help us reform other things. And maybe that way we won't have to throw our government away. We can actually make it work. Now, I know there are people out there that think there's no way to make it work. Government is evil. There's, just no way to make a good thing out of it. But you know what? Just because we've never seen it work in our lifetimes doesn't mean that there haven't been moments in history that it has worked. Most of those moments, I think, are pretty well left out of the history books because the people in charge don't want us finding out how to do something that actually works. And every time it does happen, they work really hard to destroy it as quickly as possible. So let's get a working system this time and hold on to it. And if we can't, well, then we do away with the system. But you know what? Let's not have to say we didn't try. So, okay, the next thing is to insist on the right to cast your whole vote and have it counted. What I mean by that is that if you have an opinion about more than one candidate, you should be able to put that opinion about more than one candidate on the ballot. Now, on a paper ballot, on a standard voting machine, this could be asking a bit much. But once we've got the right to vote against someone, I think it's something that we should push for, because there again, it'll get rid of the having to split your vote, having to decide, do you vote for the lesser evil that's more likely to win, or do you vote for the good guy that's less likely to win? So we shouldn't have to be stuck in a position like that. Next, insist on voting booths that can be used any day of the year, and the right to cast your vote in advance and change your vote anytime you want. And this step will basically push toward having to put together some sort of a consensus election system, and then it's just a question of what kind of consensus election system are we going to push for? Exactly what is it going to look like? And like I said, I don't want to give all the details. I think this is something we all have to work out. So thanks for hearing me. I don't know, subscribe, what are the usual things people say on YouTube? Share, like, favorite, whatever. I hope you like the video. I hope you like the ideas in it. And that's it for now. Thanks.